Hello there and welcome back!
And Happy New Year.
My name is Elena. I forgot.
And I'm Photios. And this is the Game Court.
And today is time for the quarterly look back.
So we look back in the last 3 months, October, November and December, and we present to you the new to us games that we played these last 3 months.
And it feels like we've played like 5 new games for the
No.
last 3 months.
No.
And I felt like we only played like literally 5 games.
It's
And
more
then we
than
looked at the
30.
list and I'm like, oh my god.
It's more than 30 games,
have we
new
done?
games, more than 30 new games the last 3 months. A lot of new games.
Well, I guess we like games. First on the list is White Castle, and White Castle is a very beautiful game, actually quite hot these days, and everybody's popular and everybody's quite interested in playing it. And in this game, you try to get a lot of influence and be more popular in a very famous, esteemed Japanese castle owned by a family, something along those lines. Basically, there is a Japanese castle where you try to get a lot of fame by putting a lot of gardeners, you train some people to fight and stuff like that, and then you get people into the castle as far up as you can and you get points. But I think it's quite super awesome. It has this little mechanic where you put 3 dice on a little bridge.
3 dice for a 2-player game, right?
Oh yeah, that's correct. 3 dice for a 2-player game, and then they increase throughout. And these will represent, the pip value will represent actually the power of the worker that you will actually place on the board to do your actions.
The game is amazing. It's dice placement and also a lot of combinations in the game. It plays very fast.
Combinations.
It plays very fast. You only have 9 turns in the whole game. 3 rounds, 3 turns each. And very fast. To play a game, we managed to squeeze a game in less than half an hour.
Yeah, it feels like it's not very much when you only say 3 big rounds, but specifically towards the end of the game, out of 1 action, you can literally go through every single action at least once.
Yes.
So it's super bountiful. The production is amazing. Did we mention the production? The production is amazing. The production, oh, so beautiful.
And it's from the same designers as Red Cathedral.
Oh yeah, I wanted to say that, yes.
The next in our list is Voidfall, and we played the Galaktix edition. We don't own Voidfall, a friend of ours owns it, and by the way we have a video of Voidfall. It was our game of the month a couple of months ago, and it's a big heavy Euro 4X style game where you do a lot of stuff, technologies, hand management, resource management. You also have exploration and extermination.
Extermination,
everything. It's a very good game. It's in many people's #1 of these 2023 games.
Production is amazing because it's a Mind Clash game.
Correct.
And everything looks absolutely beautiful, and the colors are very beautiful.
We really like Voidfall, so check out our video.
Next on the list is Yedo, and we didn't play this game up until now, and I've never even heard of it, to be perfectly honest, but it's an incredible game. I really like Yedo.
It's very good.
Yedo is, you're technically part of a clan and you try to complete missions, bish bash bosh. It sounds fairly easy.
Yes.
And it's fairly straightforward. Like at the beginning of the game, you start bidding for stuff for the action that you actually want to take, and then you can place your workers around the map into areas that you actually want to take extra actions afterwards, because you can do a main action and then you can do some extra actions with your workers. There is this element, which I don't even know exactly how it's called anymore, but it's kind of like Sandra from Kanban. That kind of follows you around, and like if it catches you, it does a lot of bad stuff to you.
But juju.
Bad jujus indeed. I know. Fairly technical, right? But I think overall the game, it's very nice. I really enjoyed it.
It's important in this game to complete the missions, and to do so you have to collect a particular set of weapons, and you have different samurai swords or whatever weapons you have over there.
You have to be in different places as well. You have to kind of collect a lot of stuff, and then that will complete the mission.
It's a very, very nice game. Next we played The Last Kingdom board game. Or the board game.
The board game.
It's from Gamelin publishers, and they sent us a review copy. Thank you so much for this. We actually have made an exclusive video for this.
Hold on a minute.
Yes.
That's your style.
Yeah. And you know what? We went into this game with not many expectations, and we were quite surprised by how good the game is. The designer, Declare, I think is his name, he made an amazing job. John Declare, thank you. He made an amazing game on this, an amazing job on this game, especially how you have to control and manage your cards and your action points is super cool. And it's an area majority game, and you have to have influence with particular clans. But the cool thing about the game is you can change your
allegiance. Yes, you can change your allegiance very fast.
Correct.
I mean, apart from the king, I don't know what his name is, but the king
King
cannot...
Alfred.
Ayo. Ayo. He cannot change allegiance, but everybody else can. And I think the other man's clan cannot change allegiance. But apart from them two, everybody else can. And I think it's super awesome. I think...
Nice figurines, nice production.
Everything is beautiful about this game. And I think the area majority is quite dynamic and it changes very rapidly. It changes so fast. And I think it's very good. I think it's one of the only area majority games I really like. And then we played Oath, and this is again another review copy, thank you very much. And Oath is a game that's very similar to its earlier brother Root, in which again you try to play your area majority, you have different panes and different panes where you can work on, and you can exchange your position to control that area too. As you control the area, you can explore the site that you've actually just started controlling, and that will give you some extra relics, which are technically cards that can do some extra stuff for you. And I think it's overall a good, enjoyable game.
A cool thing about Oath compared to Root is that a bit more sandboxy. Like you can do it. There's not a predefined path what you do. So I really like this part of the game. It features the same art, the same kind of production. It has a beautiful playmat. But I think we'd like to put a couple of more games in, and then we can prepare a versus video, Root versus Oath.
That will sound quite nice, won't it?
By the way, Oath was also given to us by the publisher L.L.A.M.A Games, and thank you so much for this. Next, we played a small game called Tricks and the Phantom. So we were having our lunch with some friends, and this is an annoying game, very small game. And our friend brought this over, and it's basically a bluffing game and a bit of deduction. You try to figure out which character is which to get the most points. Very small game, very fast to play.
Very enjoyable. We played it a few times.
Yes.
And then we finally played Nucleum. I think everybody has played Nucleum, and we have not played Nucleum.
We played in November, not very late.
It does say on the box that it's an economic game where you try to produce energy to power up the buildings that you've built. You can build, I think it's rails that you build?
Yeah.
You can build rails, and you can connect yourself to other power stations where you can get energy by actually burning coal, or you can actually burn uranium instead of coal if you do have one of the power plants that actually produces uranium. All in all, though, it sounds like a super cool economic game. I feel that it was not very much economic as it actually was sold. I think from the reviews that we actually heard around, it was a combination between Brass and Barrage, which are two of our favorite games, economic favorite games, and this didn't feel like neither, and it was a bit deflating, really.
Yeah, I think our expectations about this game were quite high. I think still it's a decent, good game, but I don't think it's something that I would really want to pull out and play. I mean, I better play Barrage or Brass at any time compared to Nucleum. So it doesn't give me this special, unique feeling of something that I haven't played before. It's more puzzly for my own taste and more Yuri for my taste compared to what I would expect. Next, we played Septima, and yet again we have another review video for this game somewhere. I think you know, YouTube will allow us up to 5 of this, so we'll run out of this. So at some point we're going to do this.
It will be down here at some point.
Down in the description, yes. Anyway, Septima is another Mind Class big production game. It's mainly, I think I would say, the least heavy of the Mind.
The
least heaviest. Yes, the least heavy of the Mind Class games. It's about witches. You have your own coven, so you have the witches, and you have to, you know, go around, collect stuff, heal people, and avoid trials. Yes, make potions. Yes. We really like the art and the production, but we were not very much into how the game plays, unfortunately.
A bit on the slow side, isn't it? Like, not very much is happening, and you would expect for such an amazing game to do something amazing. Maybe a bit more combos, it would have been nice.
Yeah, I mean, after a few games, even with the expansions, the shapeshifter expansion and, you know, the spells and everything, we felt that we have seen everything in the game.
And then Halloween came finally. I cannot believe it's now in October, it's the end of October.
Yes, correct.
And we played Eldritch Horror. And this is a very nice game. It's very similar to Mansions of Madness and Unfathomable that we've already played. So it was quite easy for us to actually play it, and it was quite enjoyable. And I think we must have played on like the easiest setting, to be honest, because we won.
Yeah,
but it was quite
we won so easily, right?
So technically what you have to do in this game is you have to make sure that you close all the portals to this ancient monster that came from nowhere. Obviously this game is cooperative like the other ones that I've mentioned so far, and you just have to complete all these mysteries to actually close the portals and push the monsters out. Done.
Yes, manage your health, you have asymmetric powers of course, manage your health, manage your sanity, cooperative game, quite enjoyable. We like this kind of games once in a year when we are in the feeling of Halloween. Next we have a couple of games from Uwe Rosberg, because we are trying to put more games of Uwe Rosberg in our played list, because we want to prepare an Uwe designer series for you. So the next game is Mamma Mia, which is a very small card game. It's about pizzas. It has a bit of push your luck elements. You put ingredients on a common pile and then
face down, yeah.
And then basically we go for the bake, and then we
put recipes on top.
Yeah.
Like whomever puts a recipe
yes.
on top, you count from whatever is from the bottom to the recipe, and then from that recipe up
yes.
to the next recipe, and whatever is left over you can use into your recipe. You can put cards in a recipe and that will give you some extra ingredients.
It's so fun, it's so fast to play. I mean,
you can beg
yeah.
for ingredients
you
if you don't
yes.
have it.
Yes,
so for example,
yes.
if you are missing a pineapple on a pizza, then you can just ask somebody for a pineapple, and if they do provide you the ingredient, that person will get one of the recipes already cooked, which I think is awesome.
I'm sorry, but what's wrong with the pineapple on a pizza?
You don't eat pineapple on a pizza, please.
Yes, you do. Also, you can eat pineapple on a gammon steak.
Oh. I'm out.
Overall,
I think overall it's an amazing game, isn't
yeah,
it?
I mean, I would prefer to play Bonanza compared
I think it's
to...
like kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bonanza, I think, is a bit funnier and a bit more dynamic with, you know, not auctions, but try to set a deal.
Convince other people,
yes,
yeah.
Yes, to exchange your beans, your type of beans.
Can I just say we're talking about Mamma Mia and not Bonanza now?
Okay, fine, sorry. But Mamma Mia as well is a very nice game here. What's the next one from Uwe Rosberg we played?
We played Agricola.
Oh yeah.
I cannot see. I need glasses. Next we played Agricola, and that's because we played Caverna so many times in so many different variations with so many different player counts, and is one of our favorite games from Uwe Rosberg. I think one of our favorite games.
One of our, yes.
And everybody is always comparing Agricola and Caverna together, and they're always, you either have the Agricola fans or you have the Caverna fans, and like it's never somebody that actually prefers both.
Or the Feast for Odin fans.
Yeah, that's another cup of tea. So then we played Agricola, which I think is before Caverna and before Feast for Odin.
Yes, correct.
Yes, correct. Because elements from both games are in this game, that's for sure. So Agricola feels like a less punishing version of Caverna, and not as puzzly game as Feast for Odin.
Interesting that you say that, because most people say that Agricola is the more punishing game compared to Caverna.
Oh my goodness.
Actually they call it the misery farm.
I know, but I didn't feel that, because I was preparing. Oh my goodness! Oh, I'm going to die, and I'm not going to feed my people, and everybody's going to die, and I'm going to die halfway. So that was my feeling, to be perfectly honest. That was my expectation. But I feel that this game was not as punishing, and some people might say I'm wrong, but you know what? That's me.
Yeah, it has the same action selection system as Caverna. That is, the more the game progresses, the more actions become available. But you also have the job cards, which are similar to what Feast for Odin has. So it's a nice game. So these three games, if you take them together, they have some overlaps between them, but they're also kind of unique. The next game we played, I'm not sure if it classifies as a board game, but you do play it on a table, so it's definitely a tabletop game. So it's called Mini Plakks, and it's a kind of dexterity flickering game. It's similar to Subuteo. It's maybe something between Subuteo and Glask, right?
Yeah.
So basically you try to flicker the ball to score, and as you score, your opponent loses some of their players.
We must mention that this is actually a football pitch that you actually play.
Yes, correct.
And that's not American football, but European football.
Soccer, American football, yes.
So like football, like real football. Anyhow, you have some stoppers in the middle. Everybody has stoppers.
It's like the players.
What you do is literally like you flick the ball until you get it into the other player's court.
It's so super cool.
And then we played Container, and
Container is number 4, Elena's
Container
favorite
is
game of all
amazing.
time, yeah.
Please play Container if you can. container is amazing. Container is about containers, and
Oh, really?
I know.
And container ships?
And you get little containers to put onto your big container ship that goes into the sea. And when you manage to get all the containers you want from your opponents that you can buy from, where you can buy from, you can go and auction your containers, and everybody can pay a lot of money. Everybody can auction a lot of money. You can produce from your factories that you buy onto your own board, and from there the people come and buy your produce, and then they will put them on your market where you can actually go and buy afterwards.
Yeah, in the warehouses, and then buy from
Yeah.
warehouses.
It's like everybody does exactly the same, and the actions are very simple, but you just have to find the little, you know, a little engine that works for you, because otherwise you will lose the game.
So you have, each player has a small player board, and there's a small player board, the island in the middle, where you deliver and everybody auctions for the goods, and the whole other part of the table is basically the sea. So if you ever play this game, please purchase a blue tablecloth to represent the sea, so you can play it like proper container.
Oh, we need to do that. We need to do that. I think there are only 2 actions that you have per round, and that is like one move is one action. Done.
Yes.
Buy one action. As easy and straightforward as anything. Please play container. Or it might be 2 moves, and maybe I'm wrong. 2 moves per action. Let me know in the comments if you play container.
Then we played another Martin Wallace game, the Nanty Narking, and this is one of these games that you have to figure out who is your opponent. The game is about controlling the different neighborhoods, different districts of London by buying stuff or by bribing your opponents. And each player has an asymmetric, a different character, which has a particular objective of winning the game. So part of the game is figuring out what character Elena has, based on what she's doing, based on what she's aiming for. So then you can maybe block her or stop her by achieving her objective. Because if she achieves her objective and the turn goes back to her, then basically she wins, as simple as that. Or if nobody wins until, let's say, the deck finishes, then Sherlock Holmes wins.
There's quite a lot of area majority in there, and you have all these event cards that can be quite random, and they can be quite punishing. So I feel that overall, personally, the game is a bit chaotic.
Yeah, you cannot plan much in the game, but still it's a nice experience.
And then, whilst we were waiting for everybody to actually arrive, because we went to somebody's house, we actually went to Mark's house. You know Mark now.
You know Mark.
Went to Mark's house, and we went to play some games. And whilst we were waiting for other people to arrive, we played Blokus Trigon, and that's because Marcus has it, and I like Blokus, and I'm very good at Blokus. I'm not very good at Blokus Trigon.
I won Blokus Trigon.
I suck at it. It's awful.
I find it so much easier than actually Blokus.
I lost like a dog. Anyhow, Blokus Trigon. Still very nice. I cannot win.
Maybe we need to try Blokus 3D.
Oh Lord, no way.
And in the same game night, we played another game, which is basically a stock market game. It's called The Rich and the Good. And again, the purpose is...
Isn't it
reprint, I think so, yes. And again, the aim of this game is to be the richest among the table, but also you have to contribute to the charity, because the person who has contributed the least to the charity is basically eliminated, and from the other people, whoever has the most money is the winner. And there is a bit of stock exchange manipulation, there's a bit of asymmetry when it comes to the information, so you share some cards with your next person and your other next person, but you can only see these cards, and each one can see the cards between the 2 players. So, and then you can pick from the cards to manipulate the shares, the value of the shares to go up or down. Very interesting game, very smart in the way this has been, developed and designed. Easy to play, I would say.
Yeah, very enjoyable game. And then we went to the pub and we had a very lovely meal. And then Fotis brought...
We had fish and chips.
Yeah. Fish and chips forever.
Yeah, forever.
On a Friday.
Yeah, fish and chips on a Friday.
Yes.
Yeah, with cider.
And then...
Anyway. I'm hungry now.
I'm hungry too. And then we got with us, Fotis got with him, sea salt and paper. And this is one of, it's quite a hyped game, and we said we're going to give it a go. By the way, art, amazing. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's all kind of little origami made out of paper in a shape of like a mermaid and some sort of shark and a crabby and all of that.
Yes.
So I think the art is quite cool. A crabby. You technically try to surpass a threshold of points. You can get as many as you want to, but kind of bank them in. And you do that by making set collections of things that can give some different perks, or you can just collect them for points. You have the mermaids that if you do collect all of them, which is 4, you win the game. We played how many times? 2 in a row?
Yes.
And the first time I lost in like this 3rd round, and the second time I lost in the 2nd round because Fotis got all 4 mermaids.
I don't know how this happened.
I don't even know how this game plays because I have such a bitter taste in my mouth that is just... I don't know how, I don't know. I'm either absolutely rubbish at it, or you're incredibly good, or the game doesn't work for me.
I would really like to play this game again with you, to try it again with you.
Maybe play it in big player account.
I think optimal is 2 to be honest with you, but we can try a big account for sure.
Not for me.
I think the basic element of this game is that you have to do a bit of bluffing as well. So you don't have to present all your points, you can keep them up, like, you know, secret. But let's say when Elena reveals how many points she has above the threshold, then you may have another chance to, let's say, beat her or whatever. But the thing is that you have to know when exactly you want to go out and risk it, because you can say, okay, everybody has another turn, you can beat me with another turn, or let's finish it now, but then it's less points. So it's about this reading your opponents as well, this bluffing element, which I think is what Elena doesn't like about the game. The next game in our list we played this month is Skyrim. And Skyrim is a cooperative 2-player only game with limited communication, where you are the pilot and co-pilot and you try to navigate through the winds and the traffic towards landing your airplane safely to different airports. There are many missions in the game, much variability in the game, a lot of modules to add on, the fuel module, the ice module, whatever it is, the trainee modules. Pretty nice game, as I said, with limited communication. Basically it's dice placement to different positions, to do different stuff, to open the flaps, to prepare the brakes, to open the landing equipment, to go faster or slow with your engines, to tilt nicely, you know, based on the wind also conditions. Very interesting game, very short, 20 minutes only.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of the few cooperative games that, you know, we're going to
we actually like. Yeah, we don't really like cooperative games because we kind of get, one of us will decide to do the power move all the time, and it does not work for us. But I think because of the limited communication, I think it worked very well for us, and it's a quite enjoyable game.
And the aspect that each one of us has different tasks.
Yeah. So you have to like kind of focus on, you cannot like control the other player because you have your own things to worry about. You cannot be doing something else because otherwise you'll crash and then everybody will lose.
And should I mention coffee?
Oh yeah, you create coffee and you have little coffee cups, which I think is quite cool. And then we had the opportunity to play a few scenarios of Unlock.
For the first time.
Which I wasn't 100% sure of it because we've never played, and at one point I went to an escape room and I didn't like it at all, and it felt that, you know, somebody will be the mastermind and they will kind of control everything. That was the scenario I was in at that point, and I was not really looking forward to it. But I think we played it in 2 and it was quite enjoyable. Yes. I don't think we're very good at it.
We're rubbish.
We're rubbish. So what you do in this game is technically have a scenario and you have an app on your phone that kind of helps you with this. So you kind of like, you try to solve puzzles and mysteries, and it's kind of like an escape room but in a board game, in a game. Oh, I don't think I would say somebody with that.
Yeah, you have the cards basically. There's also another series called Exit, which is of the same style. But you basically have a set of cards and you try to solve some mysteries, some puzzles. There are some stuff to do to interact with a mobile. Sometimes, you know, virtual reality stuff and stuff like that.
Which I think is pretty cool.
Real time, you have to go through the puzzle in 60 minutes. But I really believe we are quite bad in deduction games overall. Next we played another small box game. It's called Age of Galaxy, and I really like this game. It's again a 4X game, a Euro 4X game, but in a very, very small box. It gives me a lot of vibes from Gaia Project. So you try to colonize planets, to develop planets, to build your spaceships, to do some trade, to do some research across your research tracks. It's a very cool game, very short to play, maybe 45 minutes max. It has a bit of war elements as well. Who has the most spaceships will win the war, will be the world overlord. And yeah, I really like it. If you don't have the time or space to play a Gaia Project, this is a very highly recommended game. A lot of factions as well, should I say.
Yes.
Yes, and you have to present factions, and you have to decide what will be your major ideology. It was going to give you points at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Cool little game, very cool little game.
Yeah, I think they managed to punch a lot of things in a little box, and I think the game is fairly enjoyable particularly for whole smaller boxes. And then we played in the Year of the Dragon, which is technically what you're trying to do is you try to collect a lot of people that do different things. Like you have geishas, you have people that like teachers, and then you have farmers and healers and warriors and stuff like that. So what you try to do is get all these people onto your tableau by selecting some actions, and there is a myriad of things that do happen throughout the game, and you
disasters.
Do, yeah, you do flip one. Most of them are just bad jujus. Many bad jujus in this game. Like everything is just negative about it. So it's either a negative event, or you have to make sure that you have some sort of like an amount of coins or amount of people, otherwise you get the bad jujus. So it's either very bad for everybody, or you try to not get it that bad kind of situation. And then at that point you lose money and you lose people and stuff like that. So that's kind of what you do in the game. I think it was a strong no for us.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it.
It was just a bit too repetitive, and I think there was not very much going on apart from getting the people in and avoiding the jujus, the bad ones.
Next, when we're at GreekCon convention here in the UK in Taunton, organized by Paul Grogan from Gaming Rules, we had the opportunity to play an unpublished game designed by David Digby. The game is called Whitstable and Faversham. I'm not going to say many details about the game, apart from the fact that we actually quite enjoyed it.
You can say it's an economic game.
Economic game. It's pick up and delivery game. It's produce and delivery game. It has stock market elements. Very nice game. Quite tight with economy. I quite enjoy it.
I really hope he does publish this game, because I think overall, I think that the game is almost finished.
Yeah.
But I think overall it's a very good game. Particularly from an economic perspective, which we like very much. Very good game. And then we played a game that was actually given to us as well by
Looping Games.
Looping Games, thank you very much. And the game is called
Urbify.
Oh my goodness, I like that so much. I'm going to do it again. Urbify. So Urbify is a fairly simple game, which is quite entertaining, where you try to, as a council person, you try to contribute towards the building of the city. And what you do is, I think they're all people of different colors. Politicians, like one is grey, one is red, one is yellow, and one is blue. And I think they're called politicians, but they're technically just used as a resource. And you collect different kind of resources.
Influence. You collect influence for different projects.
And then with that influence, you can buy buildings that you can put on a tableau of, I think it's 6x6 buildings. And these different buildings do give you different things.
Good jujus.
Yeah, good jujus, not bad jujus.
Yeah. The cool thing about this game is that, you know, if you have workers, you have to send them to work, like to build a building or to send them to collect some influence. Whereas if you don't have workers, you have to collect your workers. And when you collect your workers from, let's say, an influence project, let's say the transportation, then whoever has politicians there, everybody gets some influence back, which is kind of cool.
Also, if you do have no workers in your pool, but you do have workers out, you can collect, instead of just resources from the politicians, you can activate a building, because when you put a building out, you have to put a person on it as well to represent that as yours. And then you activate a building like that. It's a cool game, fun game, fast game.
Then we played, we're again in a pub.
How are we in a pub
all the time, right? With our friends Evangelos and Patricia. And we played a game from Rainer Knizia called High Score. And actually it's a dice chunking game, and guess who won? Elena, the dice chunker. By the way, Elena is so good when she plays competitive dice chunking games. When we play something cooperative with dice, we always lose for some reason. I don't know.
I roll the same dice for whatever reason.
And High Score is, you know, you have these different cards, in different rounds, so you try to do different stuff with your cards. It gives me a lot of vibes of Decathlon, which is a free roll and write game by the same designer. So if you don't want to buy High Score, just print Decathlon and play.
Very similar, isn't it?
Very similar. But High Score is a very good game. I had a very good time with it.
Is this the same Rainer Knizia? I thought so. It's literally the same game, but without the name. Next on the list is a Rainer Knizia game again. Obviously, I played like either, you know, Uwe or Martin Wallace, and then we played like, anyhow, it's another Uwe Rosberg. It's another Rainer Knizia game, and what you do in this game is everybody starts with a pair of a bunch of cards in their hands, and what you want to do is get rid of those hands by rolling some dice, and whatever is on the dice you discard. There is a market that's available for everybody, and that's like 1 to the smallest number to the biggest number consecutively, and then you have a llama, because the game is called Don Llama Dice. So you have a llama on the dice, so you can get rid of the llama that way as well. And the one that has either gets rid of all their cards wins that round, or the one that has the smallest amount of numbers left in their hand will get the minus points represented by little circles in white circles or black circles. I think the black ones are 10s and then the white ones are 1s. If you do manage to discard all the cards from your hand, the game allows you to discard one disc, which you can discard a white or a black, so you can discard minus 10 points at once.
Yes.
Instead of discarding, you know, if you have 9, you're not in a very good position, I guess. But anyway, a very fun game. I really enjoyed it.
Elena likes the dice
The
chunkers.
dice chunker.
And next we played another dice chunking game. It's an Ametras game this time. It's called Zombicide, the Black Plague. And we found this game in a very good offer at the local store here. So we said, okay, let's give it a try. And,
I mean, everybody was talking about it so
yes,
much, isn't it? We have to try.
It has a lot of miniatures. As you can imagine, you're killing zombies in this game. We are chopping zombies' heads and everything. And by doing so, you collect experience to level up your characters. And you have a lot of... We played the two of us, so we had 3 characters each in front of us, which was quite enjoyable. To control 3 characters, have different weapons on your left arm, or on your right arm, different weapons, different stuff in your backpack. Kind of cool game. We had our fun with it. And yeah, we decided that Elena is not very good in cooperative dice chunky games. She doesn't roll very well.
We lost, obviously.
We lost, yes.
Yeah.
But no, I think we won.
We won.
Yeah.
Why are we giving the game away then?
I don't know.
In that case, how am I bad in a dice chunking game? And then we played something that is just come off a Kickstarter, am I wrong? And it's called Anunnaki, which I think it's a very fun name. It's a very funny name. I don't know who decided to call it Anunnaki. It's funny. Maybe it's just my head. I think because I speak multiple languages, Anunnaki just sounds funny.
Yeah,
Anyhow.
by the way, multiple languages means 2 languages.
Hey, I fluently speak 2 languages, but I speak different languages as well. You don't know.
I don't know anything.
Anyhow, Anunnaki is a game where it's technically like an Euro 4X game again.
Like Voidfall.
Just very similar to Voidfall. But in this one you control a lot of area majority as well by placing your soldiers out on different planets. So you have your starting planet and there are 2 other planets, one in the middle that's common and one of your opponent.
Yeah,
we only played in
yes,
2,
correct.
so for more people you'll have more planets and you can teleport yourself from planet to planet and you can colonize planets by putting people out or putting buildings out. You can collect resources and you can go in battles.
The cool thing about this game is how the action selection system works. Because in your board you have this pentagram, whatever it is.
That's really cool.
And you go from side to side, and if you select an action that is next to the other action, you put out a summoning cube, and if with the summoning cubes you surround a god, a minor god or a major god, then you deploy them basically, and they're quite powerful, these gods. And also by putting on the summoning cubes you also get the mana crystals, which give you yet again
extra actions with them, yeah.
It's kind of a symmetric game, has a lot of minis, has a lot of different abilities between the players. I really enjoyed my time with the game, I have to say.
I did find that the area majority was quite well defined, whereas I think that the war aspect of it was not as well defined, and I didn't feel that I'm actually battling when I went into battle.
Yeah.
But maybe that was because we were not 100% experienced.
Correct. But equally, I would like to say that I prefer the combat aspect of this game much more compared to Voidfall, because in Voidfall it's super deterministic. From the beginning, before you go into the new region, you know if you're going to win or lose. Whereas here, it's like kind of unmatched in the sense that you have to select a weapon of yours to play.
You have to buy a weapon to go to war to begin with,
yes,
yeah.
Correct. You have to buy a weapon, and then you play a weapon, the defender plays a weapon, and these weapons are basically strength modifiers. And I think it works quite well.
Also, it has very cool minis.
Also, yeah, it has very cool minis, yes. And the next game we played is called Age of Comics. We bought the game from Reese and we played it in a 2-player count. We really kind of enjoy the game. What you do in this game, you have a publishing company and you try to publish different comics of different genres. And you have to hire writers and you have to hire artists as well. And you have to take the comics and then print them out and then go around Manhattan, New York to sell them. And by that, you're going to increase your fan base, and the fan base will give you more money and more points for end of game scoring as well. It's a very Nice game, has worker placement elements, and one of the things I like about this game is that these 5 worker placement space that they have, they can be upgraded, but you can only upgrade 2 at every single game. So you have to decide which ones you're going to upgrade to get most of the points.
Also, the art is very nice and the production is very nice. It's all very like a comic, like retro kind of situation. I think it's very, very nice.
We played with a collector's edition, which has all the extra tokens and metal coins and metal
flags and everything. Everything is like metally, like random objects that are metally. I think that made it quite special.
Yeah, the art is very retro, very nice.
And then we played something that I wouldn't necessarily play because to begin with, it's a solo game.
It's a solo game, yes.
Secondly, I was really not in the mood of playing anything, and Forty was like, you have to try this game with me. And I was like, fine, let's try it in 2 because, you know, we played Friday in 2, why not try this game in 2? So this game is called 4-1 Galaktix with an X at the end. And if you don't know what I'm saying, it's over here. This is Galaktix. We just call it Galaktix because it's just bigger written.
It's Galaktix.
So this is, how did you find this game? Like it doesn't sound like a very, it's all written in German as well. So it's not even an English version.
There's no English version. This is indeed a German version, German rules. By the way, it's designed by Anunnaki.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
No way.
And
yes, it is.
And before I tell you how I managed to find about this game, I will tell you that there are 4 games from Anunnaki in the 4-1 series. All of them published this year by the same publisher. And how I managed to find this game, there is this guy, this content creator called Mike Delisio from Dice Tower, who had his own top 10 solo games of the year, and this was one of the games. So I searched, I managed to find it in Amazon Germany, the German Amazon, and we ordered it, and it arrived, and I think we played it like 20 plus times in a week.
So far, yeah. So it's technically what you do is you have a few... It is a dice chunking. It is a dice chunking game, and what you do is you try to get your little ships because you have like white ships, and you have a few tracks that go up. All of them go up level by level, step by step. You might have some like black holes or obstacles around, like obstacles, black holes that you have to avoid. You cannot actually get there, and every face of the dice is represented by one of these tracks, or is represented by not an Allen key, what do you call it, like a wrench. If you get 2 wrenches in one go, or a pair of wrenches, or 4 wrenches, you get 1 or 2 tools that do help you either to modify some stuff or some steps wherever you go, or 2 of them will give you an extra spaceship, an extra spaceship, because you start with 10 and you have some 5 extra that you could collect, or you can use these as extra if you want to do even more. So it's all about rolling the dice. You only roll twice, and you just have to think of what's actually good for you. You have some flags that you have to complete in some of the missions, but overall it's an incredibly entertaining game. Is it a 1-player game? I guess if you have like 5 children you want to play with all of them at once, I don't see how you wouldn't be able to do that. We just did it like 1 turn at a time, and it kind of worked brilliantly.
And it has a campaign mode as well. You have 4 chapters in the game and 5 levels per chapter that introduce new elements. So you have the white spaceships, then you have the grey spaceships which can go 1 step further, and then you have the black spaceships which can go to any path despite the symbol that you have rolled. And you have also the aliens in the 4th chapter as well. It's such a cool game. It plays in 10 minutes, 15 minutes max.
If even, yeah.
So we play a few in a row, and I really love it. Either solo or as a 2-player game.
Well, you can't play it by yourself now anymore. Well, it's dice chunking in the house and I don't play it? No.
And then the final game in our list that we played, the most recent one we played, is Kutná Hora, and this was a gift, a Christmas gift for us. And it was a very good game. I mean, we really enjoyed it. It technically stays in our collection. We have also made a game of the month for this game. You can find the video here. It's an economic game.
Or there if there's no space.
Yes.
Somewhere.
It's an economic game with a very dynamic market of commodities. You always get commodities with money. Money is the only currency you have in front of you. And you build buildings to have more income. You have mines. You have some events happening for a 2-player game. It's a pretty cool game, but please watch our full game review.
And that is finally the end of this video that took 100 years because we played too many games.
30 games, new games to us in the last 3 months, which is quite a lot. Please let us know down in the comments which new to you games you enjoyed this period, because we know we might want to try them too.
Or maybe you've played something that we've played and do want to share the love.
Thank you so much for watching our video.
And see you later.
Bye.